Hi, and thanks for watching another video from Pro Audio Development. Today I'm going to show you this cable tester, and if you've looked at some of my videos in the past, I've already shown you this. But today I'm going to show you a unique way to use this. And well, first off, let's just go by saying that this thing's great. You can do all kind of testing, the USB and Cat5, 8-piece Pecons. There's your standard NL4 Pecons and XLRs and DMX, MIDI, RCA, and quarter-inch, whether it be balanced or unbalanced. And you've got a slot here that you can actually put your multimeter, and if you just short these two out, it's a continuity tester, so you can use it for continuity. So what's great about this is the Mighty Cables tester. But I think Powell makes one almost identical to it. I just wanted to see what it was like inside, and so I took the screws out, voided my warranty, but that's okay, because I work on stuff. So here's the inside. Pretty nice looking inside. I don't have any real issues with, looking kind of junky. Got a nice little board in here. Some pretty good looking quality connectors. So that's the inside. I got this bad habit ever since I was a kid to take stuff apart to look inside. So what the video is totally about here is I have my own little workstation here. My wife has given me a little corner in the room that I can work and not have to clean up every time. And so I have the Weller soldering station. And I love this cleaning station. I love this more than a wet foam pad that goes in here. So what I do is I'll take this and you tap the solder off, and then you can stick it in the steel wool and twist it around and then add more solder back to it, and it works great. And it's a convenient little place you can keep your solder. Most of my, I think this is a 35 watt gun. It's the SPG 40. I don't think it's focusing on that. Might be a 40 watt gun. Yeah, 40 watt gun. And or iron. And most of my connections I solder right around 3. Whenever I do some quarter-inch speaker lines, then I'll have to have it around 4, maybe a tick over, but I've never had to solder on 5. So that gives you an idea there. And then I've got a Blue Point scope meter that I'll leave over here. It's dual channel. It's made for just testing automotive stuff, but it gives me waveforms and works great. And when you get a little up in your age, now I'm only 43, but sometimes you have to have this to really zero in and look at some stuff. So just giving you a little once over on my table here. I'll show you the connectors I like to use are the Nutric connectors. I think they're the best you can get. XLR, anytime I work on a cable, which matter of fact I have a cable right here that's bad, it'll get Nutric connectors on it. So you can buy these for about $2.60 a piece at Parts Express, and so for about $6 you can upgrade your cable. If you don't have any cut places in this cable, 90% of the time the problem occurs inside the cannon. And in one of my other videos you can see why. You can see that this one's dented up, just like I show you in some of my past videos. So this actually will get loose on there, and that's where the lack of connection happens. So for $6 you can actually make this mic cable brand new again, just with a pair of these Nutric connectors. If you're doing balanced or unbalanced, I like the ring connectors. They're available at Parts Express too. Stay away from the Radio Shack ones. They're just real cheap. If you're in a bind, maybe, but just stick with these. So that gives you an idea of what I solder with, how I do my connections. I have a standard. This is a Cornwell crimper. I've tried the automatic ones, but I like this best. And there's my little clippers. And as far as tape, I like the Super 33 Scotch tape. If I'm doing something that needs to be heavy duty, I'll use the Super 88. And what's good about it, you get these cool little containers, and you save the containers. And like I put my razor blades in there, and just miscellaneous parts. Like over here, I've got some fuses. So it's good to use that. So now you're asking, what does this have to do with this tester? Well, I just was wanting to show you the basics of, you know, what kind of connectors I use, what I solder with, what I crimp with. All of this focuses in on, oh, here's a Radio Shack connector that I actually took off of someone's cable because it's so flimsy inside that it shorts out. So this just shows you that. Okay, so back to the video. So I'm going to show you how I like to use this and what this is. Now we're probably going to do a part 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the screws back in this tester, and we'll come right back and I'll show you part 2 of the video that shows what I like to use this for. I just discovered it recently. So we'll be right back. This is video number 2 of my little workstation, and I wanted to show you what I discovered about this. And you can see I've got you know, several projects laying around, some cables to repair, and this one is a cable from the church that was on, I'm trying to remember, I think it was on the acoustic guitar or something, and we couldn't get it to come through, and ended up changing it out, and this is what I found. And I got a mixer here that it works pretty good. It's got some scratchy pots, and the kick fader needs a little work done to it, so that's another project. But let me show you this right quick. A while back, when I started repairing my own cables, I made this, and I found some oak 2x4, and it was just laying out unfinished, so I grabbed it and cut it up because I liked the way it looked. And I drilled some holes, and I epoxied an XLR connector in each end, and then some female 1/4 inch connectors and some RCAs. And what I do is whenever I'm repairing a cable, it's good because it sits up, and usually I solder with it laying down this way. But you can take one of your barrel connectors and you can plug it in here, and it lets you position it so you can like fill the cups with your solder. And then you can flip it over and you can kind of bring your cable up here and hold it up, and you can solder these connections in place. And it really does good to hold the, you know, the barrel connector in place for you while you solder. So then I had that in my toolbox for a while, and then I was like, well, I was testing all these with a multimeter, a standard multimeter, and I said, well, I need to figure out a better way to do this. So that's when I found this online. And I think I paid 30 something, maybe 40 something dollars for it. I may be wrong, but you know, it was less than $50, and it tests everything. So what I would do is I would come in here, and this cable is actually bad. I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to plug this in one-handed. There's one side of the XLR cable, and plug the other side in, and then you get the light. So that tells you pin 1 is going to pin 1, like so. There's pin 2 going to pin 2, and if they're crossed, if the pin 2 goes to pin 3, the lights will be, you know, show you accordingly. Then you go, oh, I have nothing lit up on 3, so that tells me pin 3 is open on this connector. So you can take the shells apart. I've already loosened the screw, and doing this one-handed. If we look in the light, we see we're good there. There's pin 1, there's pin 2, pin 3. Okay, we're good and connected there. So we look at the other end. Generally this is the end to go back because it's the one that plugs into the mic or your direct box or whatever you're using. So we pull this apart, and there's pin 1, and there's pin 3. If you look, you can see it's not connected. There's pin 2. So there's the broken wire. So easy to tell which pin to go look for with this tester. So then normally you'd bring it over here, you'd plug it in, and you start repairing it. But then I got to look, and I said, man, what a coincidence that this thing is shaped and almost sized exactly like my tester. So if you get one of these testers, you can take, and since normally, even though it'll sit up, most of the time I end up with it down when I'm soldering. It feels a lot better. It's easier just to slide the wire in. When you're up like this, you're having to kind of come in from the top, and I like to sit down at the bench. So sitting down here at the workbench, it's easier if I soldered it this way. So if you take your tester without building one of these and plug this into your tester, then now you can use your tester to hold the cable in place while you solder. And as long as you don't get crazy, and hold the soldering iron on the pin for like 10 or 15 seconds, then you're not going to transfer any heat into the device. And you can use this to hold your connectors. If you really want to hold it stable, you can get those spring clamps. I think they call them pony clamps or whatever, and you can clamp around this, to keep it from flipping over. But for the most part, you're going to have it laying like this as you solder. And there you go. That's the way that you can actually use your cable tester to hold your cables as you're soldering. Now, most of these speak-ons, have a little screw that you just screw the wire into. But DMXs, these guys here, a lot of time, if you're doing a standard DMX, there's only 3 of the pins. But if you have a DMX and you want to connect all 5 of the pins, that's a lot of soldering, and they're tiny wires, so this helps hold it in place. Same way with the midis. So this is a pretty good little trick. The biggest problem I have is with the 1/4 inch, because they want to, roll around and everything. Well, this is kind of spring loaded, so when you plug the 1/4 inch into here, it'll kind of hold it in place, and that was the thought when I done it here. So if you do a lot of instrument cables, guitar cables, like these, then when you plug them in there, they get that little snap, and you see it's resistance and twisting. If you have this just laying on a table and the cord's hooked up to it, it's going to want to keep flopping around like that every time you touch it. So it works really good. It holds it in place. So anyhow, that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you. How my workbench is laid out and the tools that I use to repair cables with. And now I'll be using this from now on to hold my cables in place. This works great. I let some of the epoxy squeeze in so the 1/4 inch won't fully plug into one of these. Yeah, so that's as far as it'll go because I let too much epoxy squeeze in. That will plug all the way in so it holds it nice and tight. So this will be probably dedicated from my workbench, but this here stays with me in my toolbox, so now I've got a holder that can hold my cables when I work on the bench. So I hope this helps. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. Come to my website, rickcperry.com, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out a lot when I get more subscribers. And I thank you for watching.